Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sporting160EN podcast. We're on episode 182, and we are just coming after the Juventus result. 1-0 to Juventus was the final score. But before we get into anything else, I'm once again going to present my screen and tell everyone to enter this giveaway. And again, you don't have to be a Sporting fan to enter this giveaway. If you want a Juventus fan and want to win this shirt, or any other fan to win this shirt, all you have to do is subscribe to Sporting160EN's YouTube channel, go to the pinned tweet in the link in the description, reply with proof that you subscribe. You could win a free Sporting shirt, shipping costs included. So it's probably about €100 altogether that you're saving to win a Sporting shirt. Last time I checked, we're about 42 subscribers away from 1,000. So time is running out. So make sure you get yourself involved. Without further ado, let's introduce you first to my main man, Richard. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. The weather is absolutely lovely in my ends of Canada, as you can tell by the fact that I am in a basketball jersey. It's like the first week with plus 15 or above temperatures. So it's all right, shorts and tank top season. Let's go.
I will say, I think I'm surrounded by 3 Canadians, and I'm a Bulls fan. So I promised 2 Canadians. So I won't mention any of the Raptors stuff. So
that's all right. We're used to it.
Yeah.
I expected very little.
Good result from us, bad result for you. But at the end of the day, I mean,
I blame DeMar DeRozan's daughter.
That too.
Just screaming at every free throw.
The game's the game, as they say.
It's the game is the game.
But let me introduce you to our special guests. They are both representing the Turin Giants YouTube channel. First up, we've got Dave, and we've also got Dash. How are you guys doing today, man?
Really good. We just got to get the names correct here. I'm Turin. This is Giant. We are the Turin Giants. Just kidding, guys. Hey, man, thanks. We're happy to be on.
Yeah, no, this is our second collaboration. Actually, you were on our channel a couple weeks ago when the draw first took place, and it's amazing to have you guys back. Sam, is the first time we've been together with you, but we had such a good time last time that absolutely post game, why not do it again? Yes, especially when emotions could be high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys are probably a lot more happier than we are at the moment, but I mean, there's still a leg to go, so who knows?
Yeah,
but
tight game.
Yeah, exactly.
Tight game.
And before we move on, don't forget to follow Danny as part of our group as well as Chris and Steph does not have social media, but shout out to Steph anyway. Without further ado, I think we'll get straight onto the game using Goal Point, which is our system to sort of give the ratings of the players and the matches. So I'll share my screen with you guys now, and I'll zoom in a bit so you can see.
Point is gospel in these parts.
It is indeed. Where would we be without Goal Point, man? We would not exist.
Something else.
But let me read out the lineups as follows. First, we'll go for Sporting. So we have Adan in goal, Inacio, Coates, St. Just, who came off with injury in the first half, Esgaio, Nuno Santos, Pedro Gonçalves, Morita, Marcos Edwards, Trincao, and Jamiti. For Juventus, we have Szczesny, who came off with chest problems, I believe, but they believe to say he's all fine now. So hopefully all is good with Szczesny. We've got, is it Gatti? Is that how you pronounce
Yep,
that?
yes. You got it.
Gatti, Bremer, Danilo, Kostic, Rabiot, Locatelli, Cuadrado, Di Maria, Chiesa, and Milik. So I'll start off with you, Richard. What were your overall thoughts on the game, from not only a Sporting perspective, but also Juventus 1-2?
I mean, the first half, Sporting is going to kick themselves. They had 2 or 3 wicked chances to have gone up. And I said in the group chat, Sam, if Stradamus struck again, that's going to bite them in the ass. They're going to either go behind just before halftime, or they will lose this game and realize, shit, we could have been up a couple going into halftime at least. So brutal. I thought Juve did a wonderful job in the second half getting back into the game. They controlled possession for long spells, forced a couple saves, had some chances, which was good on them. And then it just kind of became the back and forth, where it was Sporting on the attack for a couple minutes, then Juve on the attack for a few minutes. The Juve goal, what can we say? It's our Lord and Savior, Adan, just absolutely whiffing on the ball. You must have watched his Rui Patricio highlights.
I just want to provide some context
for that one.
Some context to that as well. On our Twitter account, we tweeted out something because I'm not sure if you've seen the UEFA Europa League account just was loving Sporting recently, and they were
the UEFA admin must be a Sporting fan. I've never seen this much love for any team.
And when we played Midtjylland in the first leg, Adan made a really big mistake that cost us a goal. We ended up going, I think 1-0 down was the final score in that game.
No, we tied.
We tied. Was it? And basically, Dan this season has had many mistakes. I would say almost double digits at this point that have cost us games. And we tweeted something out saying, they love a Dan propaganda for this account, and we got some absolute backlash calling us like fake fans and stuff like that. Only to be proven right today, I suppose. And every
internet bad, they look silly now.
Yeah, sorry, Richard. Carry on.
That's pretty much it. Like Adon just fucked up massively. It was brutal. You could feel it kind of coming from the Juventus side, like they had pressured for a bit for some good spells. And then it was kind of back and forth. And then we have the double chance, which I'm pretty sure I forget the Juventus backup goalie's name, but he saved it with probably the tip of his dick.
Yeah, Mattia Parin.
Mattia Parin, thank you. Yeah, just 2 back-to-back unbelievable saves to right in stoppage time to save the tie, and basically you come into Lisbon 1-0. Away goals don't matter, so you'd have to hope that we don't get a goal, and then you guys, it's all chaos now. It sucks because I think from a sporting perspective, we feel a draw at the very least I think a draw would have been fair in this game. I think 1-0 would have been harsh to either. I think a loss would have been a bit harsh to either team. It's deflating, but I'm used to it with this team. So, but they're all to play for in the second leg. It's a goal in it. Anything can happen. We'll see how the shift at home for Sporting will do. How Juventus will cope with that. Although I imagine our crowd will be a bit tepid compared to the Juve fans. They were very loud this game. Our stadiums become a bit of a library, so it might not be as much of a factor as some fans would hope.
Ours are known to do that as well. Not the traveling fans, mind you, but
our traveling fans make a lot of noise. Our fans at home are in recent times been a bit guilty of not really showing up and showing out for some of these games.
Yeah, like if they do show up, they don't make noise anyway. But it's a rare case they do show up in the first place.
Yeah.
To be fair. But yeah, Dave, I'll give it to you next. What were your overall thoughts? Oh, I think he's frozen. Hold on.
I thought he was smiling all nice. I was like, that's some nice pearly whites there, Dave.
Yeah, so it does this. My browser will randomly. There's no rhyme or reason, but it'll just shut down. So that's what happened. I'm sorry about that technical difficulty.
It happens.
Hey, did you try working the shaft?
Turn it off and back on again.
Jeez. Okay.
Sorry, guys. I'm the personality hire of the group.
It's all good.
I'm here to do all the terrible jokes, so they make shorts out of it.
Oh man, just trying to keep a straight face. It's impossible around this guy.
Not happening.
But yeah, sorry. We were talking about the thoughts on the game there before I just rudely stepped out of here.
Okay.
But no, honestly, I thought Sporting. You guys had an honest chance at this one, and the game could have went in either direction. It's one of those, man. We got Gatti scored. He doesn't do that. He scored. So it's one of those things that lucky bounce it happened, and whatever Parin did coming in as a backup, and it was 2 moments in time over those. It was almost 100 minutes, right? So it was lucky. We got lucky. I feel at the end of the day, we put the ball in the back of the net, and you take it as a fan. I mean, that's it. We got it, and it sucks. It sucks being on the Sporting side because, man, I saw the looks of the faces on the fans over there, and they were in disbelief, like mind's blown kind of disbelief, and just anxiety. I would have hate to have been in that position. I have before, and I know how much it sucks. Like it's the absolute worst, and it's such a tough loss because it was close.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll agree with that. And for me, personally, I think it could have gone either way. When I think of the Sporting side of the tie, I thought Marcus Edwards was awful today, especially the first 20 minutes. Man, he could not keep the ball to save his life, and Chimiti as well, our striker. I know he's only 18 years old, but
he was so bad. He was
zero technical ability there, and like no hold up play, no good first touch, like not one like goal presence for him. He was just absolutely awful. And like I said, I don't want to shit on him too much because he's 18, But like technical ability isn't something that's taught. It's like you have it or you don't. And it looks like right now that Chimiti definitely doesn't have it.
He looks like a newborn cold on ice.
Yeah. He actually like Bambi on ice, as they say.
He just does not look well.
He doesn't, and I never saw the hype around him. As I've said here many times, he was rumored to be in the Portuguese national team at 18. Never didn't make it, made the under-21s. But I just don't see a big future for him, unfortunately. Like I said, there's still time for him to improve, but at this rate, I don't see him improving at all. But then after that, Coates nearly scored off the corner, I believe, which was a near goal and sort of. I don't know if you guys have seen the Coates goal for Liverpool in 2011 against QPR. Almost similar, sort of like a bicycle or scissors kick, nearly went in, but a great save by Szczesny. And then obviously Szczesny was brought off, I think, maybe 2-3 minutes afterwards, which obviously hope he's okay. It did look serious. He was almost crying as he came off, I believe. So it was definitely something serious went on there, but hopefully all is well. And then continuing the injury bug, St. Just... after a good ball, I think, by Esgaio, St. Just the thing is with St. Just, he runs so quickly that I think when he goes to stop, his body just can't handle it. And I think that's why he has so many injuries, because it's always a hamstring or an ankle or something like that. And this season, I think he's been injured. This will be his 5th injury of the season, I think. It might be 4th or 5th, but I mean, prayers up to him as well, because he was crying. So it seemed like that could be a serious injury. And for someone... I think he had 2 months without any injuries, and he was playing like 90 minutes and for like the last 3 months, and that's happened sort of back to square one for St. Just. And I hope he's okay, because he has been, I would say, I don't know if Richard would agree, he's arguably been our best centre back for the past.
I would agree with that. He's been, if not the best, one of the best. He's been phenomenal the last couple months.
Yeah, and that's no disrespect to Inacio Coates, but I think St. Just has been levels above. We had so many corners as well, and like I would say at least half of them didn't clear the first man. And I don't know if that was sort of a training pitch thing, but a lot of them just ended up hitting Chimiti in the chest. I felt bad for him. Probably has a lot of bruises after the game, because the amount of times they just hit him, he didn't know what was happening. But that must be something they have to work on in training, because like I said, over half of them didn't even clear the first man, and when they did, it was either too far. It just went straight to the keeper. And speaking of keepers, man, Dan, as I mentioned earlier, I just don't understand how he's still our goalkeeper. It's always off something like a corner as well. It's a set piece, a free kick, a corner. He can never decide whether to punch it or catch it or hit it over.
It's just always something that looks so like harmless. That's the problem. It's never something like high danger. It's always something that, as a goalkeeper, you should be handling calmly, and it's just always calamitous with him.
Yeah, and the thing with him as well, he's very good at saving like really difficult shots. Like he's very good, like reaction time, I think is second to none. But like I said, it's the simple stuff, the stuff that is taught like when you're like 10 years old playing in goal. He just doesn't have it, and I really hope we don't have to go. I think we're going into next game with him, unfortunately. But next season, man, I hope he's nowhere near this team. I just don't understand how he can get better defensively with him in goal. It just doesn't work for me. But I think overall, I think it's fair to say it was a very sloppy game from both teams. A lot of possession lost, especially from Sporting in the first half, I thought. Juventus were very unlucky not to score some of those chances. Bit of miscommunication there, I think, a few times. But I will say, although maybe I would say 0-0 or 1-1 would be a fair result, I think Juventus deserved the win, especially after the double save at the end, which, to be fair, in a way, I don't know how much Perrin knew about the saves, because I think the first one was
the second one. The first one's very good on him positioning. The second one is he's just diving and hoping to get to it. He gets to it, but it's also not the best of shots. Not trying to take away, because it's still a phenomenal save just to be able to get across and get into any kind of position. But you got to be in position to have a chance.
Yeah, with Bellerin as well, it was like all you have to do is put a tiny bit more power, but he tried to place it, and
all he had to do was place it literally anywhere else in the net. That's literally all he had to do.
Yeah, I know it's like obviously we're sitting at home and we get the advantage of replays and things like that, but like for me, it's just like you've got to smack that as hard as you can, like, and then give the keeper no chance of saving it instead of just placing it on the floor. But yeah, other than that, I'll say Mateus Reis, I thought, was awful when he came in as well. He lost possession so many times. Same with Artur Gomez, by like one skill on Cuadrado where he got past it and then literally ran the ball out of play that same possession. And Diamonde looked a bit shaky as well. I think it was just a poor game from everyone bar Morita. I thought he was absolutely fantastic today. And even Coates, to be fair, as well, I thought was very good. But Morita was my standout. But yeah, other than that, Dash, what were your opinions on both Juventus and Sporting side of things?
So I do want to kind of bring up an update from Juventus. So Juventus has released saying that Szczesny is okay, just had some palpations. They ran an EKG on him in the locker room. He's okay. So
good.
Nothing
good.
serious.
Anytime you hear something heart related, because we've seen it end in disaster so many times, you always get a little bit of a lump in your throat, a bit of a pit in your stomach, like, oh shit. We have seen it happen in a lot of sports where it ends up as the worst case scenario.
Yep,
so that's good. That's good to hear.
Totally. The one thing I want to make perfectly clear, and I've told this to Richard on his stream or when he was with us, when we drew you guys, I was pissed because the thing is like, out of any team, I was like, we get you guys. And that's all credit to you guys because this game is a definition of why I hated that draw. Personally, I would have rather taken Man United because, Harry Maguire would have spotted us 2 goals. But besides the point.
You might get them next round.
Maybe. But the thing is like, I need to give credit to you guys because, like, you guys did what I expected Sporting to do. I told Dave on our stream when we were doing our watch along, I said, the only way Juve gets a goal is a cheese goal. There is no, like, and unfortunately, that's kind of what happened. Vlahovic hits it. I believe it's off Korate's groin, and then Gatti taps it in. It was one of it. I'm sorry, I don't know who it was entirely because I only saw the person's face, but it was a cheese goal because, the guy stops it with his hips, and then it just falls right in front of Gatti, and Gatti taps it in. Like, in my opinion, that's not, hey, we broke Sporting down, and it just, flew that way. It was interesting because both teams could not cleanly break the other team down, and it's something that I expected. I can criticize Juventus by saying that we can't do a midfield 2. It just doesn't work for us because we ran the 3-4-3 to catch you guys off guard because the thing is you guys are the 3-5-2 killers. Because, like, for example, against Frankfurt this season in the Champions League, you guys essentially ran riot on their 3-5-2. So Allegri wanted to flip the script and say, okay, let's hit you with something a little bit more different. It looked like Chiesa was able to stretch you guys out a little bit on the left side of the pitch, though I do think Di Maria had an absolute stinker of a game, in my opinion. Forced possession, forced passes, not really linked well with Milik. Vlahovic had the nick that ended up being the goal, but offensively, it was mostly the Chiesa show from what I saw, and Rabiot as well, which I'm a little bit surprised that Locatelli was rated higher than Rabiot, but again, semantics and stuff. But it was a scrappy game. I expected it to be a scrappy game. I expected it to be a 1-goal game, either for you guys or for us, because essentially it's almost like 3 separate instances. Like, for example, the first couple minutes we were really doing well, creating chances. Then you guys kicked up a gear, created chances, and then we kicked up, created chances, and then you guys created chances, and Perrine's balls saved the day with that one. But the thing is I hated playing you guys. I hate playing you guys. It's just one of those things because you guys execute the press very, very well. And the thing is you guys did not allow Juventus to get going at home. And the thing is, and I will say this in regards for the Juventus fan base, if you guys are saying that we should have won 2 or 3-0 against this team, I'm going to politely say, shut up, because you did not watch the game that we watched. Because Sporting plays spoiler. That is one of the things they do very well with their press. They do not let you settle. They do not let you build your game. So the fact that we got a cheese goal, but now we got to go into Lisbon, and Juventus does not have a great record in Lisbon. So even though we have an advantage, the only way that Juve fans could sleep at night is if Juve won like 4 or 5-0. Even then, we would still sleep in fear. But the thing is I'm happy, but at the same time, I'm like, we need to get past Lisbon because even though we started off at home the first leg, it's that Lisbon game because that's what screwed us in the Europa League against Benfica when we played in the last Europa League quarterfinal. It was like 9 to 10 years ago. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, spot on. I agree with most of it, what you said. There's just, I was going to ask you guys what you thought about the refereeing performance, because I don't know how it is in sort of Italian football, but usually it's the referees making the headlines in Portuguese football a lot of the time. But for me personally, if I'll start, I'll just say, I thought he let the flow of the game control. He did it very well. I thought there were some times where I thought maybe he gave out a yellow card too quickly or something. But in terms of overall game flow, I thought he did a good job of letting the game flow. Dash, what did you think of the refereeing performance today?
I thought the ref was fine. Because again, we're used to it in Italy. So if Juve breathe, they get a minus 15-point deduction. But that's a topic for another day. But yeah, because the thing is like Italian refs. Sometimes, it's like Gattuso's line. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe crap. It's 50-50. But I think this referee let the game flow. He let it run. I don't see anything where I'm just like, oh, that was blatantly terrible or anything like that. Even like, for example, when it came to things in the box, there wasn't anything where, we're just kind of like what? Or anything like that. So I thought it was okay. For me, I didn't notice the referee that much. So if I don't notice the referee that much, generally it's a good game by the ref.
Yeah, fair enough. Dave, are you sort of in the same camp as that?
Yeah, I didn't really notice it because, man, it's part of the reason why I watch Italian football is the refereeing and the drama. And there was none of that tonight. And I do agree with you, Sam. Yeah, he did throw the yellow a bit quick, but I was never really upset either. I was like, yeah, okay,
understandable.
Cool. Yeah, whatever. Let's move on. So yeah. It was good all around. No problems.
Yeah, I had no beef with the ref. I thought it was pretty good. Like the game didn't suffer from him really in any way. That's the rescue around with some refs is you just get foul after foul after foul for even the most innocuous things, and just the game never gets going. But there was a lot of good back and forth this game. I felt like the ref didn't play a big part in it, thank goodness, because you don't want the refs to be the main story. So overall, like good performance. I have no problems with him. He did good today.
Yeah, most definitely. Rich, I'm going to keep it with you for the moment, and I'm going to talk about that chance. I know we talked about it briefly, the double chance with Bellerin and Pedro Gonçalves. To me, if there's anyone on this team that I want at the end of that cross, it's Pedro Gonçalves. And for him to miss and then Bellerin with a follow-up as well, just in terms of that chance and the game in general, do you think this game really missed Paulinho in that way? I know some of us here aren't the biggest fans of Paulinho, but what were your...
I think he would have done better than Sciarramitti. I think Sciarramitti was just not great. He was I'm being nice. He was fucking sucked. Today he was god awful. I think Paulinho would have probably done a bit better in the link up. I feel like he wouldn't have been as easy to knock off the ball. Like anytime Sciarramitti went into a chat like a 50-50 ball, he lost. Anytime he was in a one-on-one, he lost the battle. I feel like Paulinho would have at least made life a little more hard. I don't know about the chance because we've seen Paulinho such an enigma. He either buries that or he shoots it over the net. So that's the thing. I can't for certain say he's scoring that because no one can say for certain he's scoring that. It's Paulinho. He is a man of just weird intrigue. He would have offered more than Sciarramitti, I think, just in those 50-50 battles and one-on-ones, because Sciarramitti just looked like a boy against men today. That's my thought. I'm not gonna go out and say he scores that because you just can't. Not with him.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And to the Juve guys as well, there's 2 points I want to talk about mostly. The first one is a very random one, and it was Di Maria's sort of attempted volley shot in like the first 5 minutes that went out for a throw-in. As far as I'm aware, Di Maria's been a pretty consistently good player for you guys this year, I believe. So when that happens, what are your guys' thoughts like? Because there was a few times he did sort of similar things where he just took a shot and it was like, was it necessary? But like, what were your overall thoughts on Di Maria's game today, I suppose?
He's been so consistent and just...
Sorry, Siri.
Yeah, no,
he's like, here's what I found about Di Maria. No.
Nobody cares, Siri. I'm talking. No, he's been so consistent and above expectations all around. There were so many naysayers as he came to the team. Oh, he's just here for the World Cup. After the World Cup, he's going to disappear. No, absolutely not. He stepped it up. He's a world champion, and he just brought that championship mentality to the team, and he's amazing. Today, he just had a stinker. It was a trash game, and I think he knows it. We all know it, but the mentality is, all right, next game up, 3 days away. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like, well, we kind of have like those like facepalm moments, but the thing is what's a good sign is though though Di Maria wasn't playing well, Chiesa looks like Chiesa's starting to find his stride. I think that's the one thing. And then also Pogba finally seeing the pitch for the like second time this
He
season.
exists. He's alive.
Yeah, he exists. I mean, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Dave and I held our breath when he did like that dragon kick save. We're just like, everybody, hold on, everybody, stay calm. His hamstrings and quads are good. We are good.
A fantastic clearance as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah, he drop kicked that ball out of the air. It was insane.
I heard WWE signing him after this match. He's going to be facing Roman Reigns for the undisputed title.
Oh, and he's already lost by the sounds of it.
lost by interference by the Usos.
Son of a bitch! Who could have guessed?
I know. Solo Sikoa out of nowhere.
Man, and on that note as well, you mentioned like Pogba and other players as well. What I wanted to touch upon was the story that came out, I think, after your last game, which was Paredes and Allegri having sort of bust up in front of the players. Was that something that the Italian media picked up on a lot, and was it something that you guys were worried about going into this game, the sort of overall atmosphere and the chemistry of Juventus?
Not really, because the thing is we don't. There's bust ups that happen all the time per se, but like the one thing I give Allegri credit for is Allegri's a very good man manager. Also Danilo is probably one of the best captains, or a surprise captain. I mean, like my favorite was Italian media were questioning him about Quadrado because Quadrado got into that argument with Handanovic and they were swinging at each other. This was the Coppa Italia. And, you know, they're like, oh, hey, shouldn't you mentor Quadrado and give him some advice and stuff? And Danilo looks at the camera and says, Quadrado's 34 years old.
Like he's a grown man. He's
like, next question. So the thing about Juve, guys, is that like our locker room, our club in general is about, you know, they expect like if you have a bust up, you have a bust up, but they're gonna hold you accountable for it. And Allegri's like, hey, because the thing is guys, the reason why Paredes was pissed off was Berenacea essentially took his starting job, and Berenacea is from our next gen or our under 23 team. He didn't feature in this game, but again, very young player, and essentially, you know, he beat Paredes for the gig, and Paredes is like, well, why am I not playing? And Allegri's like, well, it's easy, you're trash, so do better. And you know,
be better,
because that's the thing, man. Like, and that's one of the things where a lot of people don't give credit to Allegri. Allegri as a coach is very it's a meritocracy at Juve, where it's like if you're balling, you're in. If you're not balling, you're not in. It's as simple as that. So it doesn't, like, you know, bust ups like that don't really go at us that hard. And again, we're Juve, so we're used to the press trying to spin narratives or anything at us for anything stupid. So it's you know, it's another day in the office.
Anytime you're a big club, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have somebody in the press try to spin something one way or the other.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like
Portugal all the time too.
Yeah, like you had Sadio Mane and Leroy Sané, where like Sadio Mane decked him in the locker room, which I thought was kind of funny. So
good for him.
Yeah, stuff like that happens.
The press in Italy comes out of Milan. Silvio Berlusconi, if you know the farmer politician.
Very familiar with Big Silvio.
So yes, it's very leaned towards I want to say mostly Inter, but also AC Milan as well. Like, and Juventus is hated by all. You're either a Juventus fan in Italy or you absolutely detest their existence. That's kind of how it goes, right? So yeah, being Milanese press, it's just trash. It's constant trash. We never get a win. We could get a treble, and we're still the worst people that exist.
Yeah, like tomorrow morning, you're gonna see like front Corriere dello Sport or Gazzetta. You're gonna see headlines: Juventus relegated to Serie B for beating Sporting 1-0. Like it's one of those things. Like we're used to it. It is how it is. Because the thing is again, like we have twice as many league titles as the second best team, and everyone hates. We're kind of viewed as like, Darth Vader of Italy in a sense. Like, we go up every time we play Inter, we go, Inter, I am your father.
See, our press is very concentrated. I guess I would say in Lisboa, Sam, for the most part. I mean, every team, like out of the 3 teams, we all kind of have like our own paper. That's the thing. So like Benfica, I would say is a Bola. Porto's obviously Ojogo, and then we're Record. So we all kind of have like our own paper.
And then no one cares enough about Braga to make a paper.
No, because we can't be asked to give a shit about more than 2 or 3 teams at a time in this godforsaken country. At least fucking Italy has like more than 2 teams that can compete for anything, and there's
I don't know about those. I don't know about those Rome clubs.
No, those are Romans.
Napoli's just got that good Zaza. They're gonna come tumbling back down to earth next
But
season.
I feel like Italy more so than Portugal. You have at least a couple teams, like one or like more than 2 teams every year. We're like, they got a shot. Whereas Portugal, it very much feels like it's 1 or 2 tops. I feel like Italy as a whole, top down, is way more competitive than our championship.
We do from September until like November, and then it's like everyone's like
fall off.
And then everyone's like, shit, it's Juve again, or something like that.
It's like fuck it, we give up. If they see whoever it is, they're like, fuck it, we give up.
Yeah,
Napoli this year, everyone just kind of quit for the most part.
Yeah, and we all expect them to win it.
It's just going to be ironic if Milan beats them in the Champions League for the semifinal spot. I'm just going to cry laughing because
it's
that's
still 1-0 in that tie, so there's still all to play for.
Here's the crazy thing about it. I know this is a segue, but so they're missing because their center back got a yellow card, so he's suspended for the second leg, and then Victor Osimhen is out, and then as well as one of their main midfielders. So they just lost 3 of their most important players for that.
I saw the report that they believed Osimhen might be back for the second leg. I don't know how true that is, but that was the cautious optimism was they might be able to get at least him back, but we'll see. I suppose
once here's the thing about Victor Osimhen that a lot of people don't know is once that dude gets hurt, that dude's done for the season. Like his form just goes because like last season he was on fire. Hurt his face, switched to the Batman mask that he has that he lost. Apparently now Napoli's not doing well because it was his good luck charm. But
the mask,
it's
like
but
mask
again,
LeBron or Hoodie Mello.
Yeah, for me again, I just think it's comical. The one thing that just pisses me off is that there's a potential for a Milan Inter semifinal in the Champions League, and both of those 2 teams are absolute garbage in the league.
Inter was very fortunate to get past Porto in their Champions League game. I felt. And I do feel Benfica deserved a draw in their last game, as much of it pains me to say.
As sporting folk, because I know you guys don't like them. Like, how did you feel about like that Inter Benfica result? Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, I think Benfica got gypped.
I did say to one of my friends, one of my good friends is a Benfica fan. I said it felt more like you bottled it than Inter won it, if that makes sense. Because especially Gonzalo Ramos near the end there. To equalize. I think the thing is with Benfica, they've been up until I'd say 2 weeks ago, they've been far and above genuinely one of the best teams in Europe, I think, in terms of just overall play. Then they lost to Porto, and then they've had some very subpar performances since then. And it looks like things could be on a downward spiral for them. I don't think it's going to happen, but they have 7 games left in the league, and I believe they're 8 or 7 points clear at the moment. So it's going to be very difficult for them to hope for. Well, I hope they bottle it, but then I also hope they don't because it's either Porto or Benfica. It's like I don't really care.
Lose.
So Porto's like the Inter Milan of Portugal. Like nobody likes them.
I suppose, but like I don't want to say this in a bad way, but I guess Benfica are kind of similar to Juventus because you've won everything.
They are the most supported club, like it or not. Like they are the historically most supported club in Portugal.
And in terms of controversies recently, in terms of like controversies like the points deduction and things like that I know you guys have, Benfica recently have been trending towards that side of things in sport and corruption as well. So definitely more recently, but I just hope both of them lose. If Braga or I don't think Sporting are going to do it, but if Braga could somehow make a comeback,
look, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are like, hey, well, we gave the world Ronaldo, so just blow us down.
We don't even give a shit about that anymore. Like, we're tired of it. It's like, bro, the dick riding's crazy.
After he went to
So
Saudi, no one, I think a lot of Sporting fans lost respect for Ronaldo in that sense. They were just like, this is the chance. You are a free agent. You could do whatever you want.
He had two chances in the last year. Let's be real. When he left you in the last 2 years, when he left Juventus, that wasn't like a half chance he could have done it.
Yeah.
But and you sort of understand the decision to go to United anyway, because it's like the fairy tale return. Like, I know Sporting would be as well, but obviously he had his best years at Man United. I guess if a Real Madrid return as well, but then it's just like, this was your chance. You could take any pay cut. You don't need to be paid any more money than you already are, or you could invest in the club or get whatever, the stadium named after you. The training academy is already named after him. So it's just like, this was your chance. He has not come back. And people are just like
I'm going to go on the side. I will never fault anybody in life, athlete, for Joe Blow, for chasing the bag and getting paid.
Yeah.
However, it's what do you give the man who has everything? Like, it's not like he's hurting for money. Like, I'm pretty sure Cristiano Ronaldo financially is doing okay. Probably a bit better than any of us if I was a betting man.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just my paycheck and his paycheck pretty similar. I don't know. But yeah, like I'll never fault a player for chasing the money, but like what are you doing, pal?
And
like,
he also made himself look ridiculous in that interview he did with Piers Morgan, saying like, I would never go to Saudi. I would never go here. I want to stay in Europe. I want to win the Champions League. Then he obviously picked seemed the only club that could probably pay him at that point. But
the only club willing to pay him anything at all, because like he hoarded himself out for the last year to like any club in Europe that would listen, and all of them were like, no, like not for what one. Like, you're very much a PR disaster right now, and even if you weren't, your wages in comparison to your form are not. They're not comparable right now. This isn't worth it for any of us. So it's not worth it to bankrupt your team for a guy who is barely banging them in against Saudi Arabian and Liechtensteinian farmers qualifying. Like, it's not worth it to bankrupt your club for a guy who's going to be a headache and act like he's bigger than the team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've always said that guy had the worst fall from graces I've ever seen.
It was rapid.
As a GOAT caliber.
Yeah, nobody even talks about him unless we're making fun of him now, essentially.
I know.
It's kind of sad in a sense.
Like, I know our big sports broadcaster like Sport TV in Portugal, like they broadcast the Saudi games. I'm like, no one's fucking watching the Saudi games. Like, let's be real. Like, I'm not tuning into Saudi Arabian games.
You have people that are into the man himself. They don't care which team he's on. They're just Ronaldo.
They'll be there for him.
But yeah, you'll have those hardcore guys. A lot of them come out of India and like from the Far East and whatnot, right? And that's it. They're just focusing on Ronaldo. And I mean, cool, I guess, for you. So I don't know. Got a few guys from India that love you, but like the rest of football, and not to hate on them, love what you want, of course. But
like, if that's your guy, that's your guy. Like, we've all had a player that we all love. Like, at some point or another, we've all had that guy. Like, that's your ride or die. But
people would watch Juve when Ronaldo was playing. Like, we had a bunch more people that were just Ronaldo fans that'd watch him. People would watch Man U. Like, tons of people would watch Man U. Nobody watches him in Saudi except like that select few.
I know Man United fans that, like, because I was growing up, I was a Man United fan. I'll admit it. I didn't stop watching Man United because he left. And I didn't start watching Real Madrid because he was there. I was already watching Real Madrid and Barcelona games anyways. It's like, and same with like I was still watching some Italian league like Juventus or Napoli and AC Milan games and stuff. So I wasn't of the one where like, I'm going to watch because he's there. I'm just like, I'm going to watch and he happens to be there. But there's, like you said, there's people that will just, they were Man United fans and they stopped being Man United fans and then went to Real Madrid. And then they stopped being Real Madrid fans and went to Juventus. Kind of the same way like LeBron James fans, I guess, in basketball.
Yeah.
There were these handful of Cleveland Cavaliers fans and everyone was a Miami Heat fan. All you saw growing up was Heat jerseys. And then all of a sudden everybody was a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. I'm like, why? Like Like, pick a hill and die on it. Like, I
Well,
can
it's one
respect
of
that.
It's one of those things where it kind of irritates me now how the sport's going, because it's like, for example, Paulo Dybala. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you guys know who Paulo is.
I'm familiar with
like,
his work.
Yeah, he's okay when he doesn't, stub his toe by just walking. But like the thing is like, the club Juve got a lot of hate for letting Dybala walk, and it's like even now they're like cheering for Roma with Dybala on there, and I'm like, guys, how do you call yourself Juventini if you're cheering for Roma? And then it's like the one thing is like those same people had the audacity to be like, oh yeah, okay, Paulo, you go ahead and talk to Inter mid-season about a contract while you're a Juve player. It's like, what? Like,
We don't
it's one of those
tolerate
things
that
where,
shit.
yeah, it's like, this new trend where people follow players instead of clubs just throws me off for a loop. It's just
It's
so
all
weird.
team sports now. You're kind of slowly seeing that, I think.
I
Where, like,
blame
the
fantasy
players
football.
get the player. It's true. Fantasy sports and sports betting is ruining sports in a way. Well, we just saw the Premier League ban betting sponsors off the front of shirts. That's a step in the right direction. But like, fantasy sports and sports betting just makes these guys like as larger than life and almost bigger than the teams they play for, and it doesn't help any of the teams.
Yeah.
Like, Mbappe's pissed because PSG used his image in a season ticket promo or whatever. I'm like, honestly, like, that's common practice. Like, what is this fucking problem? If I was PSG, I'm like, you fucking play for the team. I used everybody in the promo. Eat shit.
But
It's
that's the thing.
It's really like a 2-second shot of him looking like this. Like, brother.
But that's the irony of it is his image
Yeah.
rights, because that was one of those things that we had with Paulo that was an issue with
Yeah.
Dybala, was his image rights, where it's like, okay, like, dude, you're wearing the jersey. You're wearing, like, if I decide to take pictures of Dybala, that's a totally different story, and I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of sus, Juve, if you're doing that. But like, when you're wearing team apparel, team merchandise,
Like, it's fair game.
like, it's fair game. Like, I don't understand why there's like a new image thing where it's like, I don't know. It's just, it's super weird. I personally don't like where the game is going, because the salaries are inflated for no freaking reason. Like, I'm all for players getting their bags, but like, when the salaries are at this point where it's like the Premier League is offering 20 million to a right back that barely does anything, you're just kind of like, what do you even do?
I think you're gonna see a crash the next like 5-10 years. And I think you're going to see almost like salaries and everything just hit a wall, because this type of rapid growth like just isn't sustainable. Like, there's a ceiling to it at some point where someone's going to go. It's going to take like one dumb club to go bust and scare people off for a bit.
Yeah, and like, for example, I think the NFL is starting to do that with Lamar Jackson, if you guys are familiar with the NFL. So like, for example, Lamar Jackson wants 250 million, all guaranteed, and all the NFL owners are like, yeah, we're not doing this,
because it sets a precedent.
Yeah, it sets a precedent. It sets the market. So, I think the NFL has kind of figured that out. I hope football does it, man, because like, I understand Real Madrid being Real Madrid, but when you look at the Premier League, with how much money the Premier League is investing in all of their teams, like a relegation team gets almost 100 million in just TV revenue.
Yeah.
Which, like, that is insane. Like, they make more, roughly about the same as Real Madrid makes from TV revenue, which is ridiculously unheard of. But
the last place in England makes the same amount as first place in Italy.
That's wild.
Damn. Yeah. Yes. So, like, again, Leeds is gonna go to, like, for example, Federico Chiesa and say, hey, even though we're 18th in the league, or they did it with McKennie, hey, we're at this point of the league, we'll still pay you. We're mid-table, relegation battle. We'll still give Juventus 38 million just for McKennie, and Juve's like, take him. But because no one in Italy is going to be able to afford that, so it's insane. And the thing is like, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the Premier League plays any attractive football whatsoever. It's
chaotic. I wouldn't say it's the most, like, in terms of technical ability, it's not always the best. I think in terms of chaos and like fun, yeah, it's great.
Well, the fact like Roy Hodgson is still winning games at the age of 73 or 72.
Roy Hodgson has a coaching job in 2023. Like, let that sink in for us.
And he's won 2 games in a row, I think.
Yeah. It's also like, I think the owners themselves coming in, I think, blame the league all you want. I think it's more the ownership pushing for things, and you see Chelsea's owner is just a fucking maniac. He's fired 2 coaches in less than like 6 months.
And spent 666 million
like,
in January.
Yeah, like part of it is just owners who are just like they're big dick swing and they want to show they have financial might, and you have the ones that are kind of more sustainable than others, and it's brutal. Like I think that there's gonna have to be some sort of crashers because it's just not sustainable. You can't keep this up. At some, and we've seen with other leagues, like Italy for a long time was one of the dominant leagues, and really was at one point probably the best league in the world in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, up until about 2006.
Yeah, I think after that last Milan Champions League,
Calciopoli.
Yeah, it killed them, right? And
it went down from there.
It went down. Spain, you saw it after Ronaldo and Messi left because they were stupid and hedged all their eggs in one basket. And then their basket left. They're like, oh no, my one basket with all my eggs, it's gone.
Darn that Juventus. Arg.
Yeah, we need to start a super league because of this. Like, no, like you can't, like part of it is too is some leagues I think they're just unwilling to look inward and improve. But
that is the problem, is that the teams want the league to improve and they won't. And that's what's happening in Italy. And that's why people want the Super League is to break from the shackles of the Spanish and Italian federations because they're insane.
Yeah, they're terrible because like the thing is like, for example, and there's some stats here. So right after Juve got the 15-point deduction, a lot of people unsubscribed to DAZN. They unsubscribed to a bunch of Italian subscriptions for Serie A in protest. Allegedly, FIGC lost 4 million euros because of that.
That's not
in
small
revenue.
Money, like.
Yeah. So the thing is like you can't, and you know this might be biased here, but if you take Juve out of Serie A is nothing. Financially, Serie A is nothing. Because like for example, when we brought Ronaldo in, the amount of money that Serie A was able to make off of Ronaldo was insane. Like it was one of the reasons why like Serie A kind of had a little bit of a renaissance, and then COVID happened, and then it just was like, but like even in 2006, when Juve got relegated, Serie A just took a nosedive because Inter isn't the team to do it. And the same thing with Milan because they, you know, essentially in 2006, I don't care what anybody says, 2006 was a setup by Inter to try to take Juve and Milan out of the picture, and they did because they put us in Serie B, and they hampered Milan financially. Because you look at it after that 2007 Champions League by Milan was never the same team competing wise. Like they had to sell Kaká, they got an aging Ronaldinho. They really pulled in maybe Zlatan, but and then the second PSG came in, Zlatan, and Milan absolutely fell apart. So I always blame Inter for ruining the league in 2006. But again, it goes to show. And the one thing though, the Premier League, what kind of sucks is the Premier League has heavy backing from the United States. Because so for example, the broadcasting company that does the Premier League is Comcast, which is
biggest telecommunications company
in exactly. So they have Universal Studios, so they're making money off Dominic Toretto's family. But like it's one of those things, man. Like they're investing $2.6 billion per season into the Premier League. So it's like it's not sustainable. Like I think the only league that could have compared was La Liga with Ronaldo and Messi in their prime, but they just didn't invest in the league itself, and now it's apparent to what happened.
No, they were happy to skew it to those two teams, and then the problem is, like we see in Portugal, is when you skew it to the same couple of teams, everyone suffers as a whole in the long run. So and like we're one of the last leagues I think in Portugal. I don't know how the TV deal works in Italy. We're one of the few leagues left that doesn't centralize our TV rights in any shape or form at all. Like zero. Every team has to negotiate their own TV money. And
that's cool.
It works out great, I'm sure. But the problem you get with that, and this is where say what you want about the Premier League, is we're looking at the collective good. We don't want teams going bust if possible. So even though it sucks for like our leagues and stuff, for them, all the teams are financially healthy. They don't have to worry about making ends meet because they all know, okay, we're all getting at least at the start an equal share of the pie. And then obviously the higher you finish, the more you get, which is just how it should work. Whereas in like Spain and Portugal, you don't have that. So a lot of these other teams from like mid-table down are all always like on the verge of financial ruin, and there's just no competitiveness in the league because they don't give a shit. They're like, we'll skew it to the same couple teams, and it kills the product, it kills interest.
In Portugal as well, what Benfica did is they went to the head of the league and they were like, we want our games to be broadcasted on our own channel, which is Benfica TV. So, and for some reason it got approved. So all Benfica home games are played on Benfica TV. So if you weren't a Benfica fan, you would have to, let's say, for example, we'll use Gil Vicente as a reason. So you'd have to pay for Sport TV to watch your games anyway. And then the one time you play Benfica, you have to buy Benfica TV. And I don't know if they do a subscription or they do it yearly or whatever.
I think you have the option. It's like most subscriptions. You have a monthly and a year.
Yeah. But it's just a stupid way to favor Benfica when Sporting had their own TV channel created. We did the same thing. I think
both Sporting and Porto had their own channels, and they both came in and said, we don't want to have it on our own channels because we don't want to have the notion of it's going to be biased commentary, which it is on Benfica TV. It's very biased commentary. But that was the point. They said, we can't do that. We got to look at the league as a whole. And because Benfica did that, it set the league back like 10 years. Like we won't get central like TV rights until like 2028 at the earliest because of that TV deal.
Yeah, and like to be fair to Benfica, it's like fair play. You've got your own channel. Like I don't blame them for doing it, but it's the league that will just like, yeah, sure. It's like not only did they shoot themselves in the foot, but it's also like, let's be honest, Portugal isn't a rich country. A lot of people are making sort of minimum wage. It's like a standard income, so they're not going to be able to afford Sport TV in general. And if your team's in the Europa League or Champions League, it's 11 sports as well. And then, like I said, the one time you play Benfica, it's Benfica TV. So all of these things you need to pay for.
Like, buddy, I can't even afford to pay attention. You think I can afford to pay for like 8 streaming services to watch like a handful of games?
Wild. You know, I do give Serie A credit for going with Paramount Plus because it's the same broadcaster for the Champions League too for the United States. So it's like,
but I'm on too.
Yeah.
I'm on Fubo and DAZN for that.
We get them all on TLN in Canada. Like they show like 3 or 4 games a day on weekends sometimes. Like I watched like 4 games last weekend.
But then you actually have to have cable. That's a cable.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You have to have a cable or satellite subscription.
Yeah, which I don't. So I have Fubo and DAZN, and you know, when I logged in today, it's like, no, wrong streaming service. Got to go to the other one.
Shit. Yeah, but that's the hilarious thing is streaming was supposed to be like this. You'll never need cable again. And now it's like, well, I might as well have cable because I'm paying for like 10 different streams. I'm paying for Prime. I'm paying for Netflix. I'm paying for Fubo. I'm paying for DAZN. I'm paying for Paramount. I'm paying for whatever. Like, by the time you factor in, you might as well just pay your cable bill because it's going to work out to be the same.
Yeah. If not cheaper now. Or you jailbreak a Fire Stick.
Yeah, no, who would
do such a thing?
Who would do such devious?
Who would sail the high seas?
It's for science. Dash is an engineer. He just
I would not sail the high seas. Certainly not I, innocent man.
I'm just searching for the One Piece. I mean, the one stream.
I downloaded that on my Fire Stick. It just showed up, I swear.
What is this? Go stream now? What is that? Oh my goodness. I have no idea what that is. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, it has the Champions League on here.
It has every game on earth. Who would have guessed?
What? Oh my goodness, pay-per-view. I'm watching the UFC 287 right now.
If a kid throws a rock at a tree in Madagascar, I can watch it. What?
What? I sneezed and it just happened to turn on.
Yeah.
I bet you the FBI is watching this.
I've always said, make it easy, make it somewhat affordable. I'll never have an issue paying for something if it's good product.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna make me jump through hoops to find it and then charge me an arm and a leg, eat shit. Like, I'm sorry, I can't afford that. Like,
it's the problem.
There's a cost of living crisis going on.
I blame Netflix because Netflix has now gone into the Netflix original series, and then everyone
have no choice.
Shit. Yeah. Well, everyone's like, well, shit, and then like all the other service providers are like, I want this.
Yeah.
Writers, make me a terrible video game adaptation, Paramount and Halo. But like. But it's like, I think that's the one thing that ruins streaming now is the originals. Because, like, for example, Netflix used to have everything, Marvel movies.
But then Disney pulled all their shit. And then NBC Comcast pulled all their shit. And then Paramount pulled it. So all these big streaming services that had their stuff in one spot for $9 a month or $10 a month, made their own thing for $9 or $10 a month, and the monopoly. This was the only time a monopoly was good in any time was Netflix.
Yeah.
It all went downhill when South Park got pulled, and that was it. Like
that was it.
Netflix was over. Yeah, Comedy Central pulled out, and no more South Park.
I blame Hulu. To be honest with you guys, I blame Hulu because like back then Netflix had everything, and then Hulu was created, which had NBC and Fox, and then Paramount, and everyone was like HBO, and all of them were like, well, hey, wait a minute, we should do this too.
All it takes is for it's like anything. All it takes is for one person to catch on, and then it's just a domino effect. Everybody starts doing it as well, right?
Yep, no, 100%. Like, I mean, same thing with ESPN. ESPN used to show La Liga, Premier League, and Serie A, and then like NBC was like, we should probably take these this Premier League thing here.
DAZN took everything. DAZN and Football took everything in Canada, save for Bundesliga and La Liga. Like they took
even La Liga
everything.
La Liga was part of Fubo there last year, though.
They're TSN, but you wouldn't know it because they never fucking show any games.
Yeah,
they never show anything. Sportsnet shows like 2 Bundesliga games a week. I'm like, I don't need to watch the same Edmonton Oilers game on 5 of your channels, like or 6 of your channels. Like,
or is that
mix it up a bit?
It's true.
As Frankie says, we need Blockbuster back.
We need Blockbuster back. We do.
That's so nostalgia for me. Have you guys watched on Netflix the last Blockbuster?
Yep.
No, I've been meaning to.
That's actually pretty entertaining. Yeah.
I will say, my friend, just to reiterate, my friend has an IPTV. So my friend has said, make sure you get one because my friend, and again,
your friend Fam Sonseca.
Yeah, him. He pays £60 a year to get everything.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
my friend enjoys it.
I spent that to fill my car with gas last week. like, bro, that's nothing.
Yeah, so my friend definitely recommends you find someone who has it and get in contact with them. But anyway, I digress. Back towards the actual game. We'll talk about the return leg now. So we mentioned it before. The second leg is in Lisbon. Obviously, Juventus have the 1-goal lead. Dave, I'll start off with you. What are your expectations for the game, and what are your overall feelings towards it as well?
This is going to be Allegri ball at its finest. Do you guys know the term cortomuso?
No, not me.
It means
you're in for a show.
I'm not excited. I'm scared. I think I need an adult.
Get your pillow and get your Lunesta.
Oh man. Or you can stress eat. I like to stress eat. That works well.
Stress eat a lot, even when I'm not watching games.
You know what, Dave? We should have gotten the meme with Franco with the noose on his neck saying "first time."
First time.
That would have been perfect for this.
Yeah, it translates into short muzzle, and it's basically you do just enough to win, and we're up 1-0, and we're away from
every
home.
Portuguese game ever.
Yeah,
okay,
this game is going to be locked. It's locked down. It's going to be boring as hell, and that's what I expect. I'm not going to be upset if we tie 0-0.
So Sam and I have plenty of practice. We watched Fernando Santos ball for like how long we watched Daniel ball. So
yeah, similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
You're not. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, like, to be honest with you guys, you're going to have, 35, 40 minutes nonstops of you just sending crosses and corners and just nothing going in and Juve just sitting back. And then
Gatti on a counterattack.
Yeah, you have Federico Gatti with that one counterattack that dribbles past 4 guys. And then Federico Gatti takes a shot and it's a penalty, and you guys get a red card for a deliberate handball because that's what happened against Freiburg.
That sounds like an average Tuesday at our hookah, right, Sam?
Yeah, like
Maritimo away. That is
Maritimo. It's always a Madeira team away.
Because that's literally because we beat Freiburg 1-0 at home. We go to Germany and then we get that one counterattack, and it's Federico Gatti, our center back, that's like dribbling through 3-4 defenders, takes a shot. And the defender literally just like volleyball slaps it away, gets a red card, and then Juve's like,
all right. Sure, we take those.
So I'm just giving you guys forewarning because the past 2 second legs that we've played against teams in the Europa League, there has been a red card for the home team. Like if you look it up, Knots had a red card for a handball in the box.
All right,
Freiburg,
so who's getting the
red-
red card for us this
red
next game?
card.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
it's
Does Ugarte try
Adan
to
or
assassinate?
Esbayo. It's
I was
one
gonna
of
say,
them
or
two.
does Ugarte try to assassinate someone like he did to Saka?
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
So-
Ugarte's first game back, automatic
I-
suspension.
I'm just saying, if you guys have protection plans on your monitors or your TVs, have them ready because Allegri is going to make you want to do it. He's going to make you want to smash your TV. And, it's like, that's why, Dave and I have all insurance plans on all of our monitors and stuff because there's sometimes where we just want to put that. But yes, it is going to be Cortomuso. It's the Italian favorite of we're up. So we're going to, again, squeeze the life out of you. The one thing I'm going to expect Juve to do is they're going to give you guys, I don't want to say a false sense of hope, but they're going to give you the ball. They're going to say, all right, Sporting, do what you want to do. We'll throw 10 players in the net and just piss you guys off. So the one thing I'll say, and if your coach is watching, you have to
He's
be
a big
steady.
fan of the show, from what I hear.
I gotcha. So I just had to beat Allegri here. Press. You're going to have to press for the entire 90 minutes with Cortomuso. Again, live by the press, die by the press. It takes one through ball and your press is completely in shambles. So, I mean, really what Sporting has to do to beat the Cortomuso is they have to press. They have to force Juve to build out of the back and force turnovers. Again, it takes one ball. If you miss up that one ball, then 2-0, it's difficult. It's very difficult. If Juve go up 2-0, I think it's very difficult for you guys to get back in. 1-0, it's possible, but usually when Juve goes up 2-0, unless it's like an absolute brain fart, they rarely concede something like that.
If you guys have 60% of the possession or more and are doing nothing with it, we're doing it right.
That sounds
Yes,
very right.
fair
I believe
enough.
that.
Yeah, fair enough. And Richard, I'll give the same question to you. So just before you get started, though, Ruben Amorim has said that Paulinho is looking less likely to return second leg. Obviously, it's in a week's time, and he still has that foot injury. So I mean, it wasn't likely to begin with anyway. But Ugarte back in the midfield, so hopefully Pot should move to the wing for either, unless we play like a front three of Edwards, Trincao, and Pedro Gonçalves.
I thought they would have played that today.
Yeah, I think we played against
played.
Frankfurt at home. We played I think Nuno Santos, Edwards, and Trincao, I think, were the front three. So
ran wild like Hulkamania.
Yes, but what are your thoughts on the return leg? Are you more confident than you would be for like what you were thinking coming into this game?
I mean, if they play like they did today, like they've got a chance, right? Like it's one goal. It's not like they have to climb a mountain. I do think they need to get, if they're going to score the goal, they got to get in the first half. I think the longer it stays tied, the more it benefits Juventus. Not to sound like Captain Obvious, but if you're going to go, you got to rattle them early. You got to like just piss them off and get a goal quick within the first like half hour. If you go at halftime tied, like it could be curtains. My score prediction will be 2-1 Sporting, and it goes to shootout because away goals means 0 now, which is good and bad. It does breeds more chaos and less chaos, I suppose, in different circumstances. And we might win by a shootout. I called it for fuck it. I'm dying. I die on a lot of hills. I'm dying this one. I called it for the Arsenal game. I'll call it for this one. 2-1. We win in the shootout.
I will say Richard is our sort of mystic genius over here.
If I'm wrong next week, I never said nothing.
He guaranteed we'd get Arsenal in the next round. We got Arsenal. He guaranteed we'd win on penalties in the second leg, and we did that. And then I think you also guaranteed that we'd get Juventus in the next round. I think
I said we'd get one of Juventus. I said we're gonna get one of Juventus or Roma.
So I mean, you can ask Richard for the lottery numbers as well. He might do
don't because I haven't been lucky the last couple weeks.
Hey, well, so there is a little bit of comedy in the game. So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there was a delayed substitution between Pogba and Paredes.
Yes.
They put up the numbers,
I did notice
and
that. Yeah.
You want to know why? Would you like to know why?
Did they forget Paul Pogba existed and forgot his number? Like what?
No. So you're gonna get a kick out of this. So Mr. Nucket till you bucket bust up Paredes forgot his kit in the locker room, so he had to run to the locker room to get his jersey.
Oh, Sway. How do you forget your kit?
It's almost like
he's been benched.
He was like, if you're not going to play me, then I'm just going to bring my
I don't even need
shit. He's been benched so long.
So there's a video. I implore you guys to go on Twitter where Allegri turns and looks at him and goes,
like bro, what are you doing? You have one job.
So Pogba's like this. Pogba turns around, looks at him like this, and then Allegri's running across, going like
Like,
our
bro.
coach Allegri is very animated, so it's like
He
it's
is.
almost like this. So he's like this. He's running. He's like
Italian
Like, it's like-
Italian
it's
coaches
just
are
like-
lovely for that too. They're
like, it's
so
like-
animated.
it's like that. So like he's running in like that, and it's just it's hilarious. It's on Twitter, so I implore you to see it. But yes, guys, breaking
Yeah, I
news.
was
That is
wondering why that sub took a little longer than usual.
Yeah,
That
because he's
explains it.
booking into the locker room like
Yeah, because on my feed, they didn't really explain what was going on. They just kind of brushed
he's-
past it.
he's just like going like this. It's like he's like, I'm playing. Oh shoot, I didn't.
Oh
I didn't
shit!
realize
I gotta
was
actually do something.
I
Hang
gotta
on.
do something.
Yeah,
It's like if I was Paredes, I would have been petty and I would have been like, you mean me or Bernachea? No.
Me or you this guy?
But I think it is funny how, like you said, animated Allegri is, and every time the camera pans to Ruben Amorim, he's always just looking down.
He
like
just
he's so
always
nervous.
looks so like disappointed.
Dude,
We could be
I
4-0 up, and he's just looking like all the time.
I've said it because so Dave and I we cover Juve games on Twitch. We speak on Juve's official channel, and I've said it, and I've asked Juve 100
We'll never
times.
get that. We'll never get that invite after what we've said about this administration, Sam. We're gonna need a new administration to even have a shot. at that
I have
happening.
asked Juventus. I want Allegri's turtleneck. It is a Juve turtleneck. It's not on their website. I can't buy it, but
We've had a
it is
couple
a
items like that.
it is a Juventus turtleneck, and it just like he looks like a mafia don. Him and his like receding hairline, and him being bald because he has a receding hairline, and he's just like this with his turtleneck, like side profile view, like
Don Corleone.
like yeah. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, I need one of these. I want one of these. It's like
We've had
and
a couple of that like on our we've seen some of the coaching staff wear stuff. I'm like, fuck, I'd buy that. And it's like
They have like
never
the
for sale.
3/4 zips they wear in training, and it's like bright blue. And for some reason, they released like the player version of it, but just never released the manager version of it. And
No.
like a lot of people loved that, and like they said they were going to sell it, and they just never
And
did.
they never
so I don't
did.
know what actually went on.
Yeah.
You see,
Dash, you're not getting it though, because I keep on asking for the sweaty used jersey of Julia Grosso, and they stopped replying to my emails.
because they're like Julia. No.
Well, I guess if I emailed them, I wouldn't have a chance then either. Probably.
Yeah. Well, you know,
That's a
Dave's just waiting for the moment for Juve to tell us and be like, all right, guys, so your special guest for your Twitch stream today is Julia Grosso. I would probably not show up for the stream because Dave will forget to let me in.
Yeah, forget to let you in.
He'll forget. She'll be like, hi, Dave, what's going on? And Dave's like, hey, I think I'm supposed to have someone else here, but just me,
roll
we can do
Just
this.
me, the lights are off.
I'm just
my
sitting
eyes.
there like this, like, hey, are you going to let me in?
For those who don't know,
Right.
I mean, not everyone knows who she is. She plays for the Juventus females, and she's one of the stars on the Canadian women's national team. So
I'm single if you're wondering, Julia.
I'm just saying.
She's
Julia,
not.
Julia Grosso
She's
is
not,
the next Alexis Morgan. So, like, just for people that are like, why is everybody gassing her up? Follow
She is
her on
pretty good.
TikTok. That's all. That's all. I'm
yeah,
gonna say
no,
for
she's
that.
fun.
But I think
I mean,
though,
I have just Googled it.
She did score a gold medal winning goal at the Olympics, so she'll always have placed my heart for that.
Yeah, no,
I have Googled it, and like the first 5 pictures are all just like modeling photos of her, and then like the next photo is football. So it's just, like, I think
It's like that. Who's the girl that plays for Aston Villa or whatever?
what's her face?
Always on
Aisha.
TikTok.
Yeah, but
Aisha
she's actually
something.
terrible though. Like Julia Grosso's good.
Not great. No,
Yeah, like Julia Grosso can actually ball. Like
Yeah,
that.
she's a
That's
baller.
the
she's a good.
difference.
She is a very good player. I will give her. that.
Yeah. So like Julia's like a great player. Alicia, like we know why she's famous. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, it's funny. Like Julia's like awesome. We were supposed to actually. She was supposed to hop up on one of our Twitch streams because Juve lets us interview players. So like for example, our coworker Giuseppe G Just Juve interviewed Federico Chiesa, Fagioli, all of them. So Julia Grosso was supposed to surprise show up on her stream, but she got food poisoning, so she couldn't make it.
That's awful.
So I'm just sitting there, and Dave's like, "Dash, did you do this?" And I'm like, "No,
bro.
let me flight it.
I
Let me flight it.
we flooded turn.
Food poisoning. I'm sure she watched her stream to check us out. It's like those old guys. God.
But yeah, you know though, like
Man, we
we've
gotta
got a
start
bunch
becoming pro Verandas on this podcast if we're gonna get access.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys know the story. We had an interview lined up with a basketball player that plays for our basketball team, and literally 5 minutes before the interview, it was pulled because of comments we made. The official reason was comments we made against the administration, so they pulled that. And then as a sort of caveat to that, we had an interview. We had an interview with Bruno de Carvalho, which is our ex-president and who is sort of blacklisted from Sporting and like sort of wiped away from like. There's no mention of him at all. So we had an interview with him, and then from there, I think things have just gotten worse. And like now, there's just no hope for us unless a new administration comes in. So we are very jealous of you guys getting to
unless a new administration or one of us becomes president. That's basically how it's going to have to be.
But I mean, you have to take a stance too, right? You gotta know how you're going to attack things, right? And I mean,
it's like from our perspective, right? We never insulted the man for anything other than like running the club. Like, it was never personal attacks on his looks or his family, or anything like that. It was literally just like, you know, he could have done this better, and like we don't agree with this.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, it's the administration, right?
There's way more hardcore like anti like administration guys than us on Twitter. It's just funny how because on Sporting Twitter we're labeled as like the ultimate like dipshits. By certain sections of the fan base, like ultimate anti like Varandas. And we're like, bro, like we've openly praised him like multiple times on this pod, like sung his praises multiple times on the show. Like I've always said, if you do something stupid, like you're open to criticism. Like, you're in the public eye, you open yourself to criticism. You got to be able to take it. Like not everything you do is gonna hit, and that's just the way it is.
That comment that just came up.
I mean, I said I wasn't going to bring it up, so I'm technically not bringing it up.
So he's missing 100 free throws. I blame DeMar DeRozan's daughter, apparently. Because why? Because as a professional athlete, of course, a small child screaming is going to put you off, you dumb idiots.
Imagine if that happened in like a Portugal penalty shootout, like final. Like between like Benfica and Porto, man, that little girl would be on the front cover of every newspaper.
That kid would be crucified.
Yeah, man.
It would not make it out of the stadium.
I know.
But no, I would say in terms of overall, like, man, this leg
player.
That comment up.
She's played more defense than Zach LaVine has this entire season. So
played more defense than some of the Raptors last night.
Hey man, it's okay. I'm a Pistons fan, so I'm.
Well, you guys always have our number since you got our old coach. To be fair.
Yeah, but
you got Dwayne and
dude's terrible. I'm sorry.
At least you can use the rebuilding excuse, whereas like the Raptors are just like, I mean, we tried.
We were in a weird spot right now, right? Like they're just an odd team.
We've won recent enough that it's still okay.
Yeah. It's not like if you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, for any hockey people that may be in the chat, where it's like
68 years.
full generations of fans have like lived and died without seeing that team succeed. Like,
it's okay. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I know how it feels.
Fuck, man, you're a poor bastard. Well, I at least cheered for the ball. I picked the hill to die, and I was like, I'm not cheering for a Canadian hockey team because a lot of them kind of stunk. So I cheered for Boston, and this was a rebuilding year, and we just broke like all-time records.
Yeah,
look, Dave. I was gonna say Dave's comment. Like, I appreciate the optimism, but like the draft lottery is just gonna give us the bird and say you pick fourth.
The NBA draft lottery is like the one draft where they will say fuck it, like we'll just because the odds are never really fully in your favor. So like you will see a team like move up and move down like crazy. It doesn't happen so much in NFL or NBA or NHL rather, but NBA, like chaos ensues in that league.
They're like, oh, we need LeBron James to get 2 more championships just so we can market him better. Lakers pick Wembanyama.
Yeah. The 1 year the Raptors got the first overall pick, we picked Andrea Bargnani. Like
he was okay.
He was okay for about a minute. I loved him in the Primo Pasta commercials. Everybody knew it was Primo.
I blame the 76ers. That's all I'm going to say. That's why we have the lotteries, because of the Phillies, the 76ers.
Well, I mean, when I think the Chicago Bulls got the 7th pick like 3 years in a row, and like there was this guy who's obviously very good now, Lauri Markkanen, who has had a fantastic season.
Markkanen, yeah.
But like at the time, he was like supposed to be like the next big thing for Chicago at least, and like was getting links to obviously the European like Dirk Nowitzki and stuff. So on my 21st birthday, which was I think it was lockdown, like COVID 2020, I got a signed Lauri Markkanen jersey, which is currently hanging above my head, which you can't see. 2 or 3 months later, he signed for the Cleveland Cavaliers on the free agency.
I have
So-
a friend. His dad's a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and he got, I think it was a Felix Potvin Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, and like
Classic.
no, and like that week he like got traded or something. I
Still,
think
that's
is the
still a
story.
classic jersey. Who
It's still
cares?
classic, but like the week he bought it was like the week, or
Yeah,
like he
it's
got
still-
it gifted was like the week he got traded.
My
So-
my claim to fame jersey is the signed Ty Domi jersey. You remember?
Okay.
Yeah, the
I remember Ty
enforcer,
Domi.
the guy that fought with the fans.
To be fair, the fan tried to get into the penalty box and fell in.
Yeah.
Ty Domi was like, all right, just beat the shit out of him for
That's the
being an
Philadelphia playoffs.
that was an all-timer. Hockey is the silliest sport.
It's dumb.
Like, I
It's so dumb.
implore you, if you're not a hockey fan, just go watch like a hockey game. It is the funniest
Just
thing.
you know what you really want to watch? Just watch the Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanche in the 90s.
Well, they'd have to be in the
Yeah.
playoffs, and they're not.
Yeah.
So,
No, I meant the 90s. I'm not saying now.
oh, in the
Not
90s.
now.
Okay. Yeah, no, the playoffs are actually just starting up. So now would be the time to
It's a
catch
chaos
hockey.
because the first round's all killers, right? It's a massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say from a UK standpoint, living in Britain, I have watched, I think, like maybe 2 ice hockey games. Obviously, they're on
Yeah.
quite late because of the time difference. I remember
Oh,
I
for
stayed
sure.
up one, probably a few years back now, and I remember just these 2 guys taking off their helm, like their things
they
and gloves,
just
and
fought.
just
Yeah.
fighting each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fighting still.
And the
alive.
referee is just watching it,
Yeah.
and like no one's intervening. I'm like,
No, they will
Is it-
eventually, but
They
that's
will.
that's
They
legit.
will sometimes. Sometimes they will stop it before it starts because they've already had a couple. Like, we can't let this get out of hand.
Okay. You
I
have
know
to understand.
the Quebec Junior League just actually
Yeah,
pretty
they
much
banned it.
fighting, which I understand in junior because these are like literal like Like, I worked for junior hockey. These are literal children. Like
bleep those
they're
kids.
between like
Natural
15
selection.
they're between like 15 and 19. Like they're minors. You can't be allowing like open and like if you get like a 19-year-old fighting a 15-year-old, that is a child against a man.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have that. So I
But
understand
they're
the
all a
rules
bunch of
change.
French farmers though from Quebec, right? So they're probably good for it.
It's all like French and like Eastern Canadian like seaboard guys, right? Like
but I
They're
couldn't
tough
believe
life.
it. They were just fighting for a good minute
Yeah.
straight. And I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
in any other sport, it's just
That's
like,
why you
they break
watch
up
it.
straight away.
that's
And
why
Sam, you
watch
gotta-
it.
you
ever
gotta
gone to
watch
a
the
fight hockey
90s.
game breaks out.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it in the 90s, man.
I would-
That stuff is.
I would say the
wild.
80s when cocaine was still a thing.
Guys were drinking like openly. We're like, yeah, I just drank like 2 quarters out of like intermission. Like smoked half a packet of cigarettes.
Well, you
like,
you had players back then that were designated just to scrap. Like they called them Goonies.
Yeah, your
they
fourth
called them
line.
goons.
That's what your fourth line is, just to mess up the other guys.
Yeah.
Oh, they're putting on their star player. Hey, dummy, go mess him up.
Yeah.
Bunch
Yeah,
of
they literally had guys who were just like they couldn't stick handle, they couldn't do anything. They were just like go out and hit a guy and maybe start a fight if you're lucky.
That-
Like there's a
yeah,
guy
that
who
was me.
famously played for Boston, Terry O'Reilly. When
Yeah.
they tore down the old Boston Arena, they sold like the individual chairs, right? Which isn't an uncommon practice. He bought the penalty box. He bought the whole penalty box where you sit when you get when
This
you're
is
in there for a
fine.
fight. He bought the penalty box from the old Boston Garden. He's
See,
like, I
you guys,
spent more time in there than on my own bench. I'm taking it. And no
You
one
guys,
objected. They're like, let him have it.
You guys remember Nicholas Cronwall? Like the
Good
Cronwalls?
I remember
Cronwall. Oh man,
So
Yeah,
many
that-
good, so many good ones though.
Yeah.
so good.
That was when concussions were like allowed.
Yeah.
Man,
Frankie says it's
still am
Paredes.
confused.
Frankie's
still
like, is
confused
Paredes
about
our
hockey.
Goonie? Yes.
Yes.
So I'll give you two a
Yeah.
backstory on why we call Paredes our Goonie. So we were beating Inter 1-0 in the San Siro, and we needed someone to ice the game or troll Inter. So Allegri subbed on Paredes, and Paredes literally went up, subbed in, went into Daniele D'Ambrosio, and was just chirping to him for the last 4 or 5 minutes of extra time until the whistle came, and he got him suspended. He got him ejected for just
That's
smack
like
talking.
Pep for Portugal. Pep's a fucking
Pep or
shithead.
Otavio, I was thinking.
Pep or
more of
Otavio would be
Otavio,
like
yeah.
great hockey goons. Like they would be great like Brad Marchands for anybody who knows. Like they would
Yeah.
just be the
I
biggest
hate that man.
shitheads. They would just be the biggest shitheads possible.
Yeah.
Like they would do so well.
Nah,
But he just-
Otavio
he
is
just
the Brazilian Pat Beverly. That's
Yeah.
literally all
Yo,
when it comes
that's
to
like
mind.
the
I see him.
term,
Just
Pat
like a
Beverly.
proper. I don't know what the right word is, but like proper barking at other players and
Just a proper
getting in their
shithead,
heads.
I think, is the best way to put it. You're just
Oh,
a
yeah, I
shithead.
guess so.
You're good at just pissing people and antagonizing people, pissing people off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're pretty much done for this, but I can't think of anything more. I'm sure we can have loads of other topics, but in terms of Sporting Juventus, I think we've
I think
hit.
we've exhausted our options for
Yeah,
this
we
game
went off.
anyways.
We love going off the rails though. It's fun.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we do it all the time. We do it all the time.
I think Richard knows when he was on our platform. I think we're criminal for going off
It's
the rails.
it's a podcast. Like it's not a podcast. Like it's not a broadcast show. Like you're allowed to go
Oh,
off the rails.
hey,
Like,
I
who's
don't
gonna tell you
know.
otherwise.
I don't know if sporting fans are like this, but we sometimes when we're doing like a podcast episode, we'll get a comment. Come on, guys, just talk about the Juve. That's the only reason why we follow.
There's always one. There's always one in the comments.
The Bruno de
that's like,
Carvalho episode, the one I mentioned with the president, he I love him to bits, but he would not stop talking about some irrelevant thing. And like we had a guy in the comment be like, "What is he going to talk about sporting?"
Like, I think you asked him. I wasn't like part of the show yet. I think I was like a week away from starting thumbnails, but like you just asked him how it was going, and he went on a 40-minute tangent.
Because it was during COVID. I was like, "How is everything? I hope the
lockdown.
family's well." Like, just said like, "How is?" And like he just talked about conspiracies, vaccines. I was like,
"Bro, he went off."
Yes or no would have been fine. Like, I'm good.
I'm doing all right. How are you in these troubling times?
That's our buddy Sam Adamo. Like we say one tinfoil hat theory, and he just goes
takes it and runs. Sam didn't even give him tinfoil hat. He just said, "Hey, how's it going?" Like,
yeah, it was just like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" And then
guys, like we
in case
we do. It is a running gag. Whenever something off the rails kind of goes on, you'll just see Dave just casually just
switch when no one's paying attention.
And then it's just like, oh yeah.
Commitment to the bit. I love it. Props included, man.
My wife made that for me. Like halfway through a show, I just texted her. Like, "How quickly can you make me a tinfoil
hat?"
And it was funny because it's like she hands it to him midstream and he just like plops it on, and I'm just sitting there.
Where did you get this?
Because it was perfect timing too. Because it was like right when I was about to get into like the Juve Serie A conspiracy theory, and then I'm playing my X-Files like sound bit music, and then all of a sudden I see Dave put the tinfoil hat, and I'm like,
where did this come from?
I'm like in my head, I'm like, maintain character.
Can't. It's like when a wrestler's in the ring and like someone just cuts a promo and they're like, "I can't laugh at this."
I know.
You see them like trying to be composed.
I tried doing a Rock promo as a sign off for one of our shows, tanked miserably because nobody got the reference.
Well, I mean, if you followed wrestling recently, it was like Sami Zayn with a bloodline, like the whole time, just trying to crack them the whole time, and you could see just all of them just like put their hands. Oh man.
Yeah, I know. Dude, my favorite part, he was like telling Roman Reigns and them. He's like, "Hey man, Jay's not been himself because Jay hasn't been
very UC."
Very, and then he pauses too. He's like, "Usi," and then
like,
the entire crowd
heads.
It's just my favorite is like Jay's going like this. He's like.
They're like, "Nope, you're gonna stare right here."
Yeah, Roman turns him towards the camera, like, "Where are you going?"
Nope,
where are you going? You're gonna stand right.
Like, if I gotta suffer, you gotta suffer too, big guy.
Yeah, dude. Hey, for me, Sami Zayn, hands down, out of like, if you were to consider from like WrestleMania to then as a season, was the best that entire season, man. Like, I was watching like. Sami Zayn got me to watch the Elimination Chamber because I'm not too crazy about WWE pay-per-views, but like the Bloodline got me into it. And it's like I'm sitting there, I'm like watching the match between him and Reigns, and I'm like seeing there, I'm like he does a Superman punch, and I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna do it? He's gonna do it. And then no, and then it's like he didn't. I was so like, yeah, everyone's like, yeah, I got the tag titles. For me, I'm like, I kind of wanted to see like the main two split and give Sammy the Universal because like Sammy is so over. Like I know like people love Cody Rhodes, but like, dude, how do you not like Sami Zayn right now?
I was gonna say to this comment, I watched WrestleMania both nights, and obviously being in England, it finished at like 5 a.m.
You guys get bad with time change.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I really wanted Cody to win. Not that I wanted him to win per se, but I was like, he should win. Like the story is finished, like we said about the bloodline and stuff, and like the story was there to finish. And then there's this meme on TikTok. It's like the World Cup final, and it's like 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns theme song plays. And it's like Roman Reigns wins the World Cup. It's like it is always just the same thing.
Champion.
Yeah, like... it's the funny thing about it was like speaking of that was like when I was watching Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens hit their finishers, and then Cody hits his finisher. I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, shit, it's done because like the Usos interfered, they're out, and then it's like, 1, 2, and then he kicks out, and then he's about to do the third crossroads, and I just see like, and I hate it because like Solo Sikoa is like really easy to notice, and I see him in the crowd, and I'm sitting there like this. I'm like,
Motherfucker.
I'm like,
After
come
he'd
on,
already
man.
been ejected from ringside as well.
I know.
And then he just randomly comes out.
And then it's like the referee's like, "Oh no,
How do you
I
not
didn't see
spot
the
300-pound Samoan man."
yeah." And it's like, how do you not spot the big arm that goes?
I mean, I don't get angry at wrestling often because obviously I know it's like stories and stuff.
Yeah,
but sitting there at
make-believe,
5 in the morning, like after watching that, was just like, especially because the first night was so good as well.
Yeah, the
just
first night
so
was
deflated,
incredible. Like the Sami Zayn Usos fight was
I
incredible.
just got
'cause
texted about Snoop Dogg the whole time.
Dude, my favorite was when he did that like Walmart version of the People's Elbow. Like
It was
he's
so
like- he's
bad,
like-
but it was amazingly good as well at the same
Yeah.
time.
My favorite is because like Shane
it's-
pulled a Vinnie Mac and
Wrestling's
tore his
meant to be
quads.
well, they have something to bond over because they both blown their quads on pay-per-view. Yeah, wrestling is silly, but like that's part of the charm. It's
It is. It's a
silliness. And
guilty
I'm not a big
pleasure.
wrestling fan, but like every once in a while, you can't help but fall in love with the silliness.
It is. It's a guilty pleasure. Like for me, it's like the thing is like, you know, I was Attitude Era, early Ruthless Aggression, and then it's like I stopped watching it because I just wasn't a fan of it. And then like Sami Zayn brought me back in because like when I saw him like try to join the Bloodline, because personally I wasn't a big Roman Reigns fan, but like Tribal Chief Roman Reigns is actually a pretty good iteration of Roman. But like I'm seeing that, I'm like, what the hell is this dude doing? I'm like, this dude's totally out of place. So I'm just sitting here watching all the cheese and stuff like that, and I just get invested into it. And then it's like,
Shit, here
okay. like my favorite, like, dude, and you know the thing is like I don't know if people give him credit, but like Jey Uso's acting is incredible.
Yeah.
It is incredible, man. Like I think low key they're setting up a beef between him and Solo.
Well, I just don't know where they're going to end it because, like,
I
are they going to end it with Jay taking the title, or is it Cody round 2?
You're on
'Cause
the
they said they
risk
were going
of-
to do like Rocky 2, weren't they? Like the storyline of that where he loses.
You're on the
I know.
risk of like NWO where you just never end it, and the people just turn on it. Like that's where you're on the risk, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know, when
'cause-
people are just like, "Fuck, I'm for it." Like, do something, anything.
Because like narrative wise, it makes more sense for Jay to beat Roman than Cody to beat Roman. Like for me,
Yeah.
it's like you would the best way to like put Cody over is you have to split the titles and he wins, you know, the vacant title because Raw needs a title. Like because Roman's strictly mostly on SmackDown. So like I think that's probably the best bet because like I don't really understand this Brock Lesnar feud because it seems kind of like
Cody's gonna win the Europa League, and Roman's just gonna perpetually win the Champions League. But
yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much it. But like the thing is like Brock, it's almost like, so you guys remember the Rock and John Cena feud back in like 2012, 2013. The Rock beats John Cena, and then
The
John
once
Cena
in a
immediately,
lifetime.
yep,
Times
which
two.
it's times 2.
Times
And then like
two.
John Cena goes on this tailspin and wants to, and Brock Lesnar comes back. It's almost like the same thing that they're doing it because I honestly, for me, I don't think Cody wins the title until next WrestleMania. I think, you know, I think Jey Uso beats him at SummerSlam. I think Jey Uso beats Roman at SummerSlam after he passes 1,000. Because it makes more sense to me. Like they do something where either they bring back like the World Heavyweight Championship and just merge the 2 belts into one and have the World Heavyweight and whatever this concoction is going to be. But I just, for me, it doesn't make sense narratively. Because unless if they did it at WrestleMania, which would be perfect for Cody because, you know, finish the story. But like right now, I don't know. I don't see it. I think it's going to be Roman versus Jay and Jay wins something, or, you know, Roman versus Jay and Sammy in a triple threat match or something. Because the one thing is like, I don't think that Kevin Owens and Sammy hold the tag titles for long. I think they did this more as fan service just to get people to be like, you know, they didn't stiff Sammy. Like they didn't, you know, try to
Had
keep
to
a
do
Daniel Bryan
something kind of thing.
They didn't want a Daniel Bryan Batista issue like they did back then, because like, you know, Batista was supposed to win the, you know, the world heavyweight WWE title at WrestleMania 30, but like Bryan was so over, so they had to change the script, and like people started booing Batista. So like I think they didn't want people to, you know, turn on Cody, so they're like, you know, hey, because to be honest with you, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn don't really make that much sense right now as far as beating the Bloodline.
Well, you don't want the main match of like your biggest show just to a chorus of boos the whole match. Like it's bad optics, right?
But they did have it for like the last, so was it WrestleMania 34, 33.
I mean, they have
32
done it because I guess
was just
well,
Roman Reigns
well,
winning all the time, and the crowd is shitting on it all the
bored.
time.
Yeah,
And they were
he
like,
just- he
"Fuck it, let's do it
wasn't-
again."
Yeah, he wasn't a good face. Like he wasn't a good baby face because they were trying to do John Cena 2.0 with him, and it didn't work. I mean, Roman Reigns is better a heel, just kind of like how like Stone Cold Steve Austin was better as a face because Stone Cold was like, "Hey, bleep you, Vince McMahon." And like, you know, when they did heel Austin, it just didn't make sense. Like heel Rock worked because The Rock was more comedic than Stone Cold was. Like
He cut that promo on the city of Toronto. Like I still remember
was-
that to this day.
that was
one of the
legendary.
greatest promos of all time.
he's like, "Yabba dabba do, the Maple Leafs still suck." And
Sucker,
then he
something
dropped-
like that.
Yeah, like I encourage anyone that's watching right now, like you want to hear a good promo.
If you're
watch The
still
Rock.
here, like go and look up that promo.
Yeah, go look up The Rock in Toronto. Like that was hilarious.
One of my favorites as well is Shawn Michaels in Toronto in 04, I think, maybe 05. With Who's Your Daddy? Sorry, not in Toronto.
That was a
in
much.
Montreal,
Oh,
That was
in
the
Montreal.
crowd wanted to kill
sorry.
him.
Was it?
They wanted
Yeah.
to murder him.
Right.
He bamboozled like 20,000 people, and they were all ready to kill.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love how he tried-
Torontonians don't take a joke very well, though.
Yeah, I
Canadians, we have this like this weird like outside like to the world looking in, we're soft, but like don't piss us off, you know, like
We're really
take
just
it
angry
personally.
people.
We're
It's-
angry because it's inhabitable for like 6 months out of the year. Like half the year you can't live here because it's just god awful.
Yeah, well, we
So-
had an ice storm last weekend.
We had an ice storm last week, and like this week I'm in shorts and like a tank top. Like
Yeah.
Canadian weather is just the most unpredictable thing.
Yeah, but to the 5 wrestling fans who are apparently still with us in the stream, we appreciate you for sticking around. I
Appreciate you
suppose.
staying with us for these tangents.
But yeah, I will wrap up here before I get onto the outros. I am gonna have to mention again, like I said,
Piss you
42
off,
subscribers
I'm
away.
Twitter.
42 away from 1,000. If you want to win a free sporting shirt, could be home away or this third kit, which is
up to
worn
you.
once and never worn again, apparently. As well as a Strump kit. So you can have a selection of all 4. And we'll pay for shipping and stuff. So like I said, it'll be about €100 that you'll save. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, what we have to do is subscribe to us on YouTube, take a screenshot, reply it to the tweet. The pinned tweet is in the description below. Like I said, don't have to be a sporting fan to enter as well. It could be a Juventus fan. If you're an Arsenal fan that stuck around or any other fan, of course, feel free to enter as well. But I
And
will
we'll do
start
the
to
draw
wrap up
live
as
on
well.
the show, so no one thinks
Correct.
there's any shenanigans. We do want to make that disclaimer that we'll do it live and we'll make sure that like it's legit, so people don't think we just picked somebody who's a pal.
And obviously, me, Richard, Steph, Danny, and Chris will not be able to enter. As much as I would
No.
love to win another sporting shirt, we will obviously make
We
it
should
fair.
pay for it. No, Chris told me last
God.
week if I win, I just have to pay for my quarter. That's what Chris told me last week. I'm sticking by it. Screw it.
It's funny. It's like you guys do. Oh man, the Turin Giants, they won it. I
They
don't
won.
know how they did it. They
Don't
just
know how
somehow
it
won the
happened.
sporting thing. Oh wait, what's this? Juventus, the Milkman shirt that they sent us. I have no idea where that
Blue.
came from. It just came out of a post-it box. It just happened to be there.
Just have
It's-
it find it
showed
in
up
a
at one of our
charity shop or
doorsteps.
something
It just showed up at this IPTV box.
Yeah, I know.
that my friend has.
Yeah,
My
I
friend
was
has-
just holding it for a pal.
Yeah, my friend just came over and just dropped this box and just left it.
Left the shirt. It was the shirt. It was actually wrapped up in the shirt.
I know. I don't know. It just popped out. I don't know what happened.
Wow.
But yeah, again, thank you guys for joining us. I know we went on a few tangents there, but it's great having you guys on, and hopefully for the
Yeah.
return leg as well, we hope to do a collaboration again.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, thank you for both of you, Dave and Dash. Follow them at Turin Giants YouTube. I believe, is that your YouTube handle as well, or is it just Turin Giants?
It's
Yeah, just Turin Giants. That's just the Twitter handle, or
We'll make sure to plug it in the descriptions and everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
you'll find us. Just type that up. We're easy enough to find.
Yeah.
yeah, and we'll include links as well. And also, don't forget to follow Rich as well. Thank you as always, my co-host, for joining me, as well as Danny, Chris. When I get there we go, and Steph, and of course you want to follow myself is here as well. But make sure to follow Sporting160_EN on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, all your good social media and podcast apps. And like I said,
OnlyFans coming soon.
You already got the sleeves gone.
I'm already the guns, so look out.
Hey man, that's one of our marketing ploys. We're selling feet pictures.
Yeah. You want to see some gnarly Azorian tractor feet?
We don't wear socks here at the Turin Giant, so
I got socks on right now, but it's kind of chilly actually. I got cold feet.
Yeah, as always, again, thank you guys for joining us, and we shall see you again, hopefully soon.
Yes.
So peace.
Yeah, very soon. Thank you.